To prevent fires, you need to go clean that dryer vent. So today we're going to be cleaning out a dryer vent. This is the vent that comes out of the house to the north side of the house. And I got my tools and such here. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But basically what happens is that when you have a clothing dryer in the house, whether it's gas or electric, it has to blow out that warm, it should be exhausted out of the house. Now I've done some videos where we've done some things with the exhaust, having the exhaust come in the house, especially in the winter time. That can be done with an electric, but it cannot be done with a gas, first off, or propane. Secondly is that it's really not the most recommended thing in the world because there's a lot of lint that comes off your clothes. And no matter how good of a filter you have, it's probably not the greatest idea to do it because you're going to get this lint in your house. With that being said, it's heat and it is moisture. And in some climates, that could be appealing. So just wait out if you're going to go that route. But this is not that video. This is a video. We're going to clean this out. And it has lint that has built up. Let's take a look at that and see what it looks like up in there. So as you can see, this isn't too terribly bad. And I've seen much, much worse. This is something we clean out a couple of times a year. So you're not going to have as much buildup as one that hasn't been cleaned out in multiple years. But there's still enough, as you can kind of see on the bottom down here, there's still enough there that we want to get this cleaned out and such for the winter, because we just do not want to have this getting all plugged up. As we go into the winter months, it's actually a little more critical because this area will, with that humidity change going from a warm hot to the cold outside, you'll actually have more that builds up around this last 6 inches in the winter than you would in the summer. So we want to make sure we get this nice and clean to really help this blow the stuff completely out before getting caught up and hung up on the little bit of residue right here. So in order to get started, most dryer vents have a couple of flaps on, and I took one of them off already. And what the little flaps are is they've got 2 little pins on the side, and they will open when the blower is going, and it should close and keep some of the air and some of the critters out from that. There's the pins. There's little holes on each side, and the little holes are. There's a little hole, and there's a little piece right here, a little kind of a nubbin of plastic, and these will fit right in there. Now they can be taken off, but it's kind of, you got to be careful because it's very easy to snap these little pins off. You can, while it's in there, you can put a slight bend to this. If you take a look, you can see that this has a slight bend, a little bit of give. You can give it a slight bend and you can remove this carefully. Now today's about a 50-degree day, so I'm not too concerned about it being fragile and bending or breaking like you would on a super cold day, but this can snap these off. So just to show you, it's in. I can put a little bend to it, and there it's in. To take it out, I would just tip it up, and I would push up on the middle a little bit, just enough to get a bend, and pop one side out, and we're good to go. Now the second one up on top, I could take that one out if I want to, or I could leave it in. We're going to be using the lint eating little device, and we've got our adapter that's going to kind of fit over this. Now it's not exactly perfect because this is a little bit bigger than I'd like it to be, and my hose on my vacuum is a little bit smaller than I'd like it to be, and I don't have the adapters to make this fit into the house properly, and the hose of the vacuum fit into the, so it's going to be it'll give you the idea, but it could be done a little bit better, and I just don't have that kind of time today. So the way we're going to pop, there's a little plug here where that little line on the LintEater, it's the little drive shaft. The threaded end will go into the bristle brush, but that will go through, and then as I turn this, the bristle brush will be on the inside. So here is the little brush head, and there's a couple of different brush heads that are available for the LintEater system. So it is in there, and I'll have the vacuum in there, and then this will go down the line and kick things out. I will have the vacuum hose in here, and hopefully that will suck out some of the lint before it goes too far. Now I'm just going to push this in here a little ways, and that's okay. So I just by pushing it in, and now you're going to get to see a little bit of the lint that's going to come out. There's some of the lint that's there, and I'm going to try to push it back in and get the vacuum to catch some of that. And that I'm using is the little Greenworks here. Let me take you through all the pieces that we'll be using today. So some of the pieces we're going to be using the M12, the little driver here with the drill adapter. This comes with 4 different pieces for this. We're going to be using that. We've got the Lint Eater brush. Now it comes with a few extra pieces, but all we're going to be using in this application today is the Lint Eater brush. We've got the couple of extensions. We're going to be using 2 of the extensions, and then we're going to be using our little vacuum adapter where we can run the Lint Eater through this and have the vacuum going at the same time. And then we're on the side of the house without any electricity, so we're going to be using the 60-volt hybrid from Greenworks. This is using 2 batteries, but it's a 60-volt wet dry vac, which will allow me to have this running on this side of the house without electricity, and I'll be able to hook it right up and clean out anything that gets knocked free. Okay, so I'm going to just use the vacuum to kind of clean up this area. There we go. Otherwise, we're going to have a situation where that lint is going to come flying out and make a mess. This is, again, in the M12 system. It's a 3/8 inch chuck, and that's all I'm after. I want to set the clutch fairly light so it's not going to have a ton of torque on it. And that's pretty much the way this configuration will go. Is I've got my drill right here on that flexible shaft, and I'm going to just kind of carefully, slowly work it in. Actually, I'm going to do it before I put the vacuum on. Really, I want to go nice and slow. I don't want to go fast where I'm going to do any damage. I just want it to kind of carefully kick some of the lint free. Okay, so now I'm going to continue with this, but I'm going to turn the vacuum on so it can pull some things out. Okay, so my brush came through pretty clean. That very first time I pushed it in and came back out with it, it was actually pretty covered. It was pretty covered in lint and such. So now I'm going to take the camera off and we're going to take a look and see what it looks like in there just by going 1 pass in and back. Okay, you can definitely see that there is certainly a difference. It really cleaned that out. Now what you're seeing in here is you get to that point and there's a bend that goes right up into the dryer. So that's where that's about as far as we're going to be able to clean from out here. Now the second option would have been to go through and disconnect it from the dryer and do the same concept, but instead of having a vacuum on this end, I could have done like a leaf blower on the other end and blowing stuff out. Didn't want to do that. As you could see, this really wasn't that messy, and it really cleaned things up well. That's surprising how nicely that came out. So yeah, just my little fuel driver here. I'm going to back that. One thing about this is you don't want to, if you're using a drill or something to that effect, you don't want to go in reverse, because if you go in reverse, you will literally unscrew from the brush. So you don't want to do that. But the Lint Eater tools has a variety, has more extensions. It also it comes with the adapter here. This brush, there's another brush that comes with it. There's a kind of a little digging bit that comes with it. Links in the description below for that. This is, again, included with that. If you haven't checked this out, you really need to check this little guy out here, this little driver. This is in the M12 series. This is the drill driver. It's, yeah, a great little tool. Even my kids, it's not so well balanced. The kids use this one actually quite a bit. And then, of course, we've got the Greenworks cordless vacuum. This is a 60 volt. It's one of the strongest wet dry vacs, battery powered on the market. Again, links will be in the description below so you can check all this out. But this is John Young with the Weekend Handyman. Thanks for watching.
For more tips and how-to videos, go to weekendhandyman.com.